Hey everyone, it's Lucy from KBeautyHobbit.com. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new. I do a lot of different nail tutorials here, and it's been a little while since I made a video about Ohora. I did a quick poll on my Instagram and on my YouTube for what you wanted to see next, and the vast majority voted for a tutorial of Ohora nails with builder gel. So that's what we're going to do today. I do have a lot of other nail videos on my channel. I have a massive nails playlist, plus recently I categorized all of them into subcategories like press-on nails, nails that don't need a lamp, nails that do need a UV lamp. So if you have some specific interests, go ahead and check out those smaller playlists. The set I'll be using today was a Japan exclusive. It's Ursula themed, and I figured since it's almost October, this was close enough to Halloween to go ahead and try it, but the technique will work with whatever design of Ohora that you choose. Prep is the most important step, possibly even more important than application. I always start by pushing back my cuticle with this metal cuticle pusher. I will put links for all the tools I'm using, as well as a discount code for Ohora in the description below, so check that out. I've done nail stickers for close to a decade now. I started with Sally Hansen. That was the first brand that I ever tried like that. They didn't last. Then I did Jamboree for years and years and years. I don't support MLMs anymore. And then I discovered Korean stickers a few years ago and just never looked back. Inside the cardboard box is this light protective case because these stickers are semi-cured. They need UV exposure to fully cure. And I highly suggest that you store them in their box. And definitely while you're curing your nails, put all of the extras back so that no little residual light from your lamp gets to them because they will not be usable after that. Get this little kit inside with a wooden stick, a tiny file. I typically prefer to use my own, but it's nice to have this if you don't have any other nail files. These little mysterious clear stickers, we'll talk about them a little bit later. And then 2 sheets of the actual nails. There's a variety of sizing here, and some of them have little gems. I know that with my nail size, these gems will have to go on the thumbs. Ohora includes 2 prep pads. These are basically rubbing alcohol soaked pads to get your nails degreased and free of any oils, lotions, whatever. I always wash my hands really well before doing nails. If you have oilier nail beds, or if you are doing a manicure for a younger person, like one of your kids maybe, kids have very oily nail beds, so I suggest washing their hands with something like Dawn dish soap before the manicure to really get all that grease off. But for myself, I don't have to do that. I just wash with regular soap and water, don't apply any lotions, and then do a really good job degreasing the nails with the prep pads, and then try not to touch the nails after that. I like to start from the pinky and work my way left to right and leave the thumbs for last. I do all 4 fingers on one hand, 4 fingers on the other hand, and then do the thumbs last. It's not my first, second, or third time using Ohora, so I kind of know my sizes. I know that I need this third one for my pinkies. These can be stretched a little bit. If you stretch them side to side horizontally, you'll make them wider. If you stretch them vertically, you will make them a little bit thinner. Of course, there's a limit to how much you can do it, and depending on the design, just be a little careful because you could accidentally overstretch them and ruin the design. If you have very long nails, much longer than what you would want as the end result, you could trim them a little bit before applying the stickers. I'm not going to trim my nails right now. I usually have them very short. My background was clashing a lot with these dark wraps, so I moved it out of the way for now. I'll put it back though, the little black protective mat, when I get to some of these liquid steps. Anyway, I usually have my nails very short. In fact, people criticize them in my videos. But the technique will work on whatever length you have. Length is just preference, so if you want yours short or longer, it doesn't really matter. The video should still be helpful. Right now my nails are very long for me personally, but I'm growing them out for a very specific, beautiful wrap. I want the length to be as long as comfortable for me, just because I want to show off the design. And I highly recommend getting one or probably a pack of these rubber tip cuticle pushers. They're great at smushing down the stickers and making sure there are no little gaps between your nail bed and the sticker. These work much, much better than the wooden sticks. They don't dent the stickers, and I really love them. I mean, if you can buy just one, go for it, but typically they're sold in packs of multiple on Amazon because they're very cheap. Because the sheets have different designs, I'm going to move on to this sheet now for a little variety and see what might fit my pinky. Ohora shows you which side goes to the cuticle line. Typically that side is just more narrow. Depending on the shape of your nail, you can put this side to the cuticle line, of course, depending on the design. There's really no difference, just this side is more narrow than that side. So depending on the shape of your nail, feel free to flip them around if you need to. I try to get the width as close to my actual width of the nail as possible. I don't want big gaps. But if you have to choose between slightly too wide or slightly too narrow, definitely choose slightly too narrow. You don't want anything overlapping. It's one of my pet peeves. Sometimes brands will post application videos and they always make it look like it's a 2-minute process. It's not. It's not that long, but it's not 2 minutes. But anyway, it drives me nuts when in the application videos that some of the brands put out, it's very clear that the nail stickers were just slapped on and they are too big. And I called out one of the brands of press-on nails on that, saying, hey, these are clearly not the right size for the model. They're not going to last. And the brand said, well, some people like full coverage nails. Like, I'm sorry, what? So you can see here that it's very close to my cuticle line, but it's not going over anything. And I would even encourage you that if you put on the sticker and it is too wide and it's clearly not the right size, just go ahead and remove it and get a different one, because it's so much easier to just redo it now, even though it's annoying, than to basically finish your manicure and then have something pop off the next day because it wasn't applied properly. Then I take manicure scissors, and you can use clippers if that's what you're comfortable with. I grew up using manicure scissors. In fact, these scissors from Zinger, it's a German brand, I've had them since I was 7, and I am definitely not 7 anymore, so they've lasted me really well. I like using those, and sometimes if my nails are really long and I want them shorter, I will go ahead and cut the nail with the sticker at this step. But because I'm growing it out, like I said, I am just going to cut the sticker. It doesn't have to be super perfect at this point. We're just getting some of that extra length off before we cure. And since we're on the topic of pet peeves, I really, really hate when brands show people filing the stickers before curing them. It does not work. The sticker is soft. It is very difficult to file at this point. So cure it first and then file off the little imperfections. Okay, I promised to show you what the mysterious little clear stickers that say protection on them are for. And it actually took me a little bit of research back when I first had a set with these to figure out what they're for. You will only get them if your set has gem nails like this one with the little, either little gems or those little 3D like metallic designs. There are a few different kinds that Ohora has. These are different from regular stickers. They're very thin and they each have an individual protection layer on them. That is exactly the size of the sticker, and if you don't know that, it gets really tricky to apply them. It's actually kind of tricky to apply them anyway. So the first thing we're going to do is peel off the little protection layer. See that? So that layer right here, this piece, that's trash. You don't need that. These are meant to go under just the nails with the 3D element on them. You can see how thin, flimsy and sticky it is. It says it's to protect your nail. I think that might be kind of like a Korean English translation issue, maybe, because I think what they're for is to make sure that the gem nails adhere really well. So I put that on and then smooth it down. I'll show you how delicate this is. So if you hold it, it rips. Like you can rip a piece off. Well, I guess I can't on this one, but I did on the other one. I don't want to damage the main part of it, so I won't do that. But it's very, very thin. And I think it's just meant to smooth the surface of your nail and make sure that that 3D sticker adheres well. I don't think it's as important for designs with a tiny gem like this one. It's probably a little bit more meaningful for those sets that have really large 3D elements. That's on, and now we're just gonna do the main sticker as usual. Now all of these little ones, they have a little protective film on them. The ones with the gems do not. And then about this specific set, I'm not crazy about seeing the giant blob of clear adhesive they put on here around the gem. I don't know what will happen if I take it off. I know some people pop the gems off. I actually like the gem part. I just don't like seeing that adhesive. So I will attempt later to make that better. And we'll get to that step eventually here. All right, peel it off. Try not to touch any parts that will actually go on the nail. And then basically do what I normally do. Line it up to where it's very close to the cuticle without going over it. Make sure it's straight. Let it go. Smush it down. And on these gem ones especially, I pay special attention here to the line at the cuticle side and take my little rubber pusher and really smush it down here. There's not a lot of space right here between the skin and the gem. And I want to make sure that that little part right there is fully lying flat. This is what's left of my set. The leftovers are great to use for pedicures. You can use the big ones on your big toes. You can do the tiny ones maybe if you have any younger family members who are into that. I usually keep all of these extras until I'm done wearing the manicure, just in case one of them pops off or something like that, but the rest of the manicure is good. I don't think I could get a full second manicure out of these. There's enough in quantity, but there's not enough in the sizes that I would need. Here's my secret weapon for hair snagging. The only issue I ever have with Ohora nails is at the cuticle line right here. They start to snag hair. Sometimes it's 7 days in, sometimes it's 9 days in, but some of you have that snagging issue 2 days in. So the way that I figured out how to get rid of that, actually I didn't come up with it, somebody else posted it, I tried it and never looked back, is the squish light. This is a little UV light with a little squishy top. I put saran wrap on mine to protect the squishy top because it does get ripped up by the nails. And all I do is turn it on and apply pressure for just a few seconds to each nail to basically start curing that wrap while putting pressure on it, make sure it adheres to the nail. And I pay special attention to the cuticle side. This completely eliminated all the hair snagging. I've been doing this for over a year. It's one of my most watched videos, the one about the squish light. And I do this with most brands. There are some brands that don't seem to need that, like Hey Hey and Nail Log. But when I try a new brand for the first time and it's a semi-cured nail, I always do this step. You do not need to do this step with strips that don't require a light. It will not really do anything. It won't make a difference. But anything that's semi-cured like Ohora, I would definitely do this step. This is not enough to cure the nails. It is just a first step, so you still need to cure them. Okay, here is the cured and filed hand. So I cured them for 2 rounds on my lamp. How many rounds you need will depend on your light. The one that I have is not being made anymore. I would suggest getting a full-size lamp versus using some of those freebie little ones that some of the brands give out with the first order, etc. I just feel like the big ones do a better job. Those little ones, I don't know, you have to do like your thumbs separately. I like the ones where you can put the whole hand and the whole hand fits all at once. Here it is. Once I cured them, I took my coarse-ish file and just cleaned up around the edges a little bit. If you want to see that process live, check out almost any other one of my nail videos. I show that every time. I kind of stopped showing that for the sake of time because I'm doing other tips in this one. For comparison, this right hand has builder gel and a top coat. Let's look at the thumbs. So you can see that the little glue ring around the gem is a lot harder to see. The whole thing is just a more cohesive unit here. And more importantly, the builder gel really adds desired thickness to the nail. So as they keep growing out, they are not bendy. and I can actually keep this length. This is the brand of builder gel I'm using. It's Cocoist, it's Japanese. I know there are tons and tons and tons of builder gels on Amazon. I would just strongly advise against buying the cheapest ones. I'm just not sure how good they are, if they come in contact with your skin, how safe they are. This one was recommended by a professional nail tech, somebody I saw on TikTok, and I think she's affiliated with them somehow. I'm not, but it's a great builder gel. With builder gel, there's a correct way to do it, and then there's the way that I do it. And they're not the same thing, okay? So bear with me. And if you're a licensed nail tech, well, I don't know why you're watching my videos anyway. I mean, I appreciate you, but you probably know all of this already. But also, if you do this differently and it works for you, that is fine. All I do is I paint basically the way I would paint a top coat, except I don't cap the free edge with a builder gel. I just apply it to the nails. And I do the first 4 one by one. The correct way to do this, if you were actually like building up the apex, doing all of that, is you would do each finger individually, and you would flash cure them with a special like little light, and then move on to the next. I don't have time for that, but I also just, that's not what I'm trying to achieve. I am trying to just make my nails a little more durable and just feel a little bit thicker. I don't need them to be super fancy because I am putting this on top of a design. I'm not building it up and then putting design on top. I am doing it in reverse. So all I'm doing is painting them. You do have to keep your hand pretty level here because builder gel is going to move around and it can pull weird to one side of your nail, creating a lump. So I'm going to set my hand down now. Once I have that first layer on each one of the 4 fingers, I'm leaving the thumb alone because the thumb is sideways right now and I don't want that big lump. So I'm going to do the thumb last. Okay, so now that these are painted with the first, I am going to take the brush and just apply a little more builder gel just down the middle only. And I am not doing a great job smoothing it out or anything like that because it's going to smooth out itself, you'll see. But I am just basically giving it a bit of that apex by just putting some extra down the middle, and it works nice for me. Again, if you want to do something different, fine. Okay, and then here's a trick I learned from somebody who is not a nail tech but who gets their nails done by professionals a lot. Once you get that on, turn your hand upside down, don't touch the surface, and just let the gravity pull that apex down, pull that middle part down. This will basically shape your builder gel to have the thickest part in the middle. And then I'm going to go ahead and cure just these 4 fingers, and I'm going to do my thumb separate. I went ahead and I cured those 4 fingers. Let's do the thumb now. Pro tip, after you do the filing step, so apply, cure, file to get the edges smooth. After you do that, you can either use a nail brush if you have one, I don't have one, or you can take that little prep wipe that came in the kit, the one you already used, that's fine, and just wipe down all that nail dust before you do your builder gel, or if you're doing a top coat, before you do the top coat. So I'm painting over the gem here. I had issues with Ohora gems before. I had the Dalgona design, which had a 3D little Dalgona cookie on it. I had a design with a metal, like loopy kind of thing on the thumb. And those design 3D elements, they tend to pop off. So I'm hoping the builder gel kind of keeps it on. But what I'm doing is I'm just painting the whole thing. I could add a little thickness to it, I don't know. With my right hand, I did that off camera. I did all of the builder gel on all the fingers at once, and that was a mistake. I thought I could get away with it, and now I have this weird little dent on the thumb where the builder gel shifted. I don't know if you can see that. It's not the end of the world, it's fine, because there's already a design on it, like it's pretty hidden. It's fine, I'm just gonna leave it. but I am definitely not advising you to do all the fingers all at once. Maybe do the thumbs separate if you don't want weird lumps. I'm gonna do the same thing of flipping it upside down. Builder gel, by the way, is how I got my nails to be this long. I had a Hey Hey set on them for 2 full weeks before this, and I did Hey Hey, then I did botanical little design stickers on top. And then I did builder gel and then a top coat. You always have to do a top coat with a builder gel. Well, maybe it depends on the builder gel, but with mine you need to have a top coat. And they were growing really nice, didn't break or anything. My nails are very bendy. I can't have them this long without having stickers on them because they're not going to make it. So the builder gel definitely made them basically feel like acrylic nails for the 2 weeks that I had those stickers on. This is the top coat. This is the last step. I'm using Alice & Bella. It is gifted. It's a really good top coat. It's a one step, so you don't need a base or anything under it, no additional base, and you don't have to wipe it off when it's done curing. It's not sticky. So this is what my thumb turned out like. It's much better than my other thumb, but okay. It's fine. So with the top coat, I always cap the free edge. That is actually the reason I use a top coat. Now the builder gel does require a top coat, but if you're just doing the stickers and no builder gel, which is what I do most of the time I do not spend extra effort doing the builder gel. Right now, like I said, I'm just growing them out, and this is something you guys wanted to see. Most of the time I just do the stickers alone, keep my nails nice and short, and then I do the top coat, and I always cap the free edge because I want that top coat to prevent my stickers from lifting. There are two big potential risk areas in the nail stickers where they could go wrong. You could have lifting and snagging at the cuticle side, or you can have a lifting and possibly snagging at the tips. And capping the edges definitely eliminates that whole lifting issue most of the time. And I say most of the time because honestly, not every nail brand is good quality. There are plenty of really crappy brands. Some of them are just going through the learning process. Most of these brands will order their stickers from a specific manufacturer. Like, there are more brands than there are manufacturers. So you'll have a company making nails for several different brands. And so sometimes the brand, the owners, the designs are fantastic, but maybe they just didn't pick the right manufacturer. And sometimes brands will change manufacturers, etc., etc. But sometimes the owners are shady and ask you not to post the review because you had a bad experience, and say, but we are a small business, please don't post your video, instead of learning from your experience, right, and maybe trying to be better. So sometimes, all that to say is, you could have a perfect application or very well done application, and it still doesn't last because the brand quality is just not there. With the top coat, I also leave the thumbs for last because I used to do them first, and then with the thumb being sideways like this while I apply for the top coat to the rest of the nails, a lot of the times I would have weird pooling on the side of the thumb. Ta-da! It's finally done. Not going to lie, doing it with a builder gel takes kind of forever, at least for me, just because it's all the extra curing. It does last well, but for me, the max I can wear nail stickers is 2 weeks, because after that, they just look too grown out. I'm tired of the design, etc., etc. So while I do the builder gel occasionally, that is not something I do every time. But I think it looks really nice when it's done. Here's how the thumb turned out. We no longer see, or at least see way less, of that weird adhesive ring that the gem had about it. I really like the design, especially this black glittery nail. It is so pretty. When I cured under the lamp, it was shining so pretty. I bet it's going to look wonderful in the sun. Here's the other hand. The thumb that I slightly messed up, although I don't think you can tell too much. I can more feel it to the touch than I can tell it by looking. But overall, I'm very happy with it. And Ohora, for me, except for the gem nails, usually lasts a good 2 weeks until I'm ready to take it off. I even wore Ohora for a cruise vacation, and I'm very picky about vacation nails. because I definitely don't want to have any sort of nail mishap while I'm not home. I don't bring any of my nail stuff with me, so if one pops off, I basically just have to pry off the rest of them and just deal with the consequences. But they stayed on just fine through vacation, like ocean, pool, everything else. One more thing I always do is after I'm done curing everything, the top coat, when I'm basically completely finished, I take one finger and I touch everything, and I'll tell you why. There have been a couple of times where I thought I was done. I always go wash my hands afterwards just because I don't want any remaining gel traces anywhere. It's not recommended to go swimming or submerge your nails for long periods of time right after doing the application, but washing hands with soap for me is a must, and it never really affects my wear time or anything. But the reason that I touch every little area is because there have been a couple of times that I washed my hands and then I'm just going about my life and then I feel a weird like sticky side, and it's because I forgot to put a top coat over the builder gel there, or maybe one of my other fingers obstructed the light under the lamp in just the right way and the top coat didn't cure fully there. So I always just touch everything to make sure that everything is glossy and smooth and fully cured, because I hate coming back to the application to add the top coat or whatever, cured again, something like that, when I think that I'm already done. Thank you very much for joining me today. I hope this video was useful. As always, I am open to suggestions on other things to try. If you have your own tips and tricks, if you have brand recommendations that you think I need to definitely buy and make a video on, let me know. You can find me on my blog, KBeautyHobbit.com, my private Facebook group, Korean Beauty Fanatics, and on Instagram at KBeautyHobbit. I have a whole nails highlight on Instagram with a ton of different brands. I post manicures there. I post kind of live updates on how things are wearing. So I'd love to see you there if you're not already following me. I hope to see you in my next video. And until then, please remember to always listen to your skin. Thank you so much. Bye.